o'clock. Now, Lizo Mazimba has been looking back at the life and career of Ozzy Osbourne, who died this week at the age of 76.
Never, never, never say die.
He was the heavy metal Hellraiser,
And forget how to
who became a reality TV star.
Fever upon the fire, smoking again.
Ozzy Osbourne, the self-proclaimed Prince of Darkness, was just as famous for his antics on stage as off.
He was the Prince of Darkness, but boy, I'd like to go for a pint with him.
Off stage, sweet as can be. On stage, a madman. Everybody, go crazy.
What is his musical legacy?
And I remember just seeing his glasses in his big mouth, and I just had someone to identify with.
Of the many Ozzy stories, what is fiction and what is fact?
It actually was a real dead bat.
And in the city of his birth, how will Ozzy be remembered?
Everyone loved him. He helped create a genre that is eternal.
He'd be happy that everybody remembers him and everybody loves him.
The so-called greatest metal show ever takes place in Birmingham this afternoon.
Yeah, ready for today!
July the 5th, 2025, and more than 40,000 metal fans descend on Birmingham's Villa Park.
It's probably going to be the main event of our lives. We just couldn't miss it.
You have one time in your life to see it. You must take the chance,
They'd come to see Black Sabbath in a rock fest that some feared would never happen.
I am the BBC's media and arts correspondent, and I have to confess, I was a massive Black Sabbath fan.
40,000 Black Sabbath fans here, and they could have sold it many, many times over.
And I think there was a moment in everyone's thoughts, is he actually going to be on that throne?
What a day. Birmingham forever. Brum forever.
That's it.
Just several months earlier, Sharon Osbourne and Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi, and not Ozzy, were the ones promoting the show at a photo call.
I feel very emotional about the whole thing, and it's just going to be a joyous day for the fans, to see all of those icons on one day. We call it back to the beginning because this is where it all started, in Aston.
John Michael Osbourne was born on the 3rd of December 1948 and grew up here in Aston, Birmingham.
Were you poor, or is that just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We had nothing. We had hand to mouth. Like, best up, first up, best fed,
He picked up the name Ozzy at primary school, and it stuck.
I left school with a little bit more education than I had when I went to first started going, I didn't, because I was doing my dyslexia. I couldn't learn.
Having left school at 15, there was a series of jobs before a botched burglary landed Ozzy in prison.
I had these stupid gloves with the fingers cut out, so...
And I've actually got caught and...
I spent a little spell in Her Royal Majesty's accommodation.
If he hadn't found rock and roll, or if Black Sabbath hadn't found him, Lord knows what would have happened to him. But when he put that ad in a shop window, Ozzy Zig needs a gig, and he got a reply, well, changed the world, didn't it?
Music has been the main thing that got me out of my area, place I was born, See here, I wrote that on the wall, Iron Void. See?
What's that stand for?
I was just thinking of band names.
When Ozzy and Geezer first started performing, I think their name was Polka Tulk. This wasn't going to work, was it? Then they moved on to Earth. Might have worked, but there was another Earth out there. What completely transformed it for them was when they looked at a cinema opposite and saw a name, Black Sabbath. It was the name of an Italian horror movie presented by Boris Karloff, and they thought, well, if they're going to pay for a horror movie with a name like that, they might pay to see a band with a name like that.
The thing what I like about Black Sabbath was the fact that we weren't a creation by some mogul who said, oh, we'll get a guy from Glasgow, it was this guy and whatever. We were four guys, local guys from Aston in Birmingham, who had a go and we got successful. And that's something that you can't buy.
In 1970, the band released their self-titled debut album, followed not long after by their second, Paranoid.
I used to be a producer at MTV and I did all the rock and metal shows. Every single band has got that one touchstone single, and for me, Paranoid was the one that lifted them off out of the album charts and into the single charts. Some heavy metal doesn't have really much of a tune, but this just had everything in it, its energy, and even to the very end, seeing Paranoid it's an iconic track.
Their third album, Master of Reality, in 1971, established the band internationally.
I mean, I can remember playing the Crown pub in Birmingham at Henry's Blues, and I'm thinking, well, this is good for a couple of years. Drink a few beers and have a jam. We get to Europe, and that was the beginning of the most incredible adventure I could ever think of.
A rock and roll lifestyle was part of that adventure.
There were many substances consumed on the road. There were many ups and downs, and I think probably Ozzy was consuming more than any of them.
By the end of the 70s, Ozzy's party with Black Sabbath was over.
He openly admits about the issues he had with drugs and alcohol, and it's a tough one.
I feel lucky to be alive, I don't immortal, but because I've done some pretty damn crazy stuff in my life, you know.
In 1979, Ozzy was without a band, but found a new manager in the daughter of Black Sabbath's boss, Don Arden. Sharon became not only Ozzy's manager, but in 1982, his second wife.
But I don't think Ozzy would have survived as long as he did had it not been for Sharon. I think Sharon, in many ways, saved Ozzy's life.
You've got to remember that Sharon is the daughter of Don Arden, and this was the tough guy of British music. The stories about him, legendary might be one way of describing it, terrifying. He took no prisoners, and there's definitely something of her father in Sharon.
Straight-talking and fiercely protective of her husband and their family, in a male-dominated industry, she drove Ozzy's solo career.
So much of my life I have spent being quite rude to people in business and standing up for myself. You get a reputation, which is something that you're really not. You're actually somebody quite different.
If there are limits to rock and roll excess, then few performers have pushed those boundaries more than Ozzy. One of the most famous stories that has dogged Ozzy since the 1980s is that he once ate the head of a bat live on stage.
Well, there's different versions, I must say. So he said, and this is from Ozzy, he said initially people used to throw on fake bats, like rubber bats and chocolate bats and stuff like that. And he thought it'd be really funny to like bite their heads off and chuck them back into the audience. And then one gig, it actually was a real dead bat. So he took the bite, chucked it. It was like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And they said, Ozzy, that was a real bat.
Now look at the side of the stage and Shannon's going... So then I had to go and have the rabies shots, which is a lot of fun.
At the time, it upset animal rights groups. However, Ozzy reset his relationship with animals and was involved in campaigns for charities. and it's just one of a catalogue of Ozzy Osbourne stories.
So obviously there was the sniffing the line of ants when he was in a dress in America, and people saying that can't be true. And he went, it was true. I felt the ants going up my nose and down into my stomach. And he was like, but I was really drunk that day.
Ozzy's antics eventually got a worldwide audience when he and the family took part in a new reality show in 2002, MTV's The Osbournes.
To learn how to love.
The theme music was a jazz swing cover of Ozzy's song Crazy Train, performed by Ozzy's next-door neighbour, Pat Boone.
There had been many fly-on-the-wall documentaries over the years before that, but they'd all been a bit serious. This was like a situation comedy. You could not believe how mad this family was, but also how likeable.
And now the president.
It was a huge success, with audiences at home and in high places.
What a fantastic audience we had tonight. Washington power brokers, celebrities, Hollywood stars, Ozzy Osbourne.
It ran for 4 seasons and relaunched Ozzy as a cuddly father figure.
Ozzy was famous. Ozzy had had the Ozfest. He was well known. He was a rock star. He was in Beverly Hills. He was doing okay. The TV show completely transformed everything. Suddenly, everybody knew him.
You know, nobody knew. It was, you know, we were paving the way. Ozzy was a pioneer with it. We didn't know what was going to happen with it. And good things and bad things we got out of it.
But it took its toll on Ozzy and the family.
It got too crazy. I remember stopping at McDonald's with the kids one day, and it would turn into like this lunatic asylum. But there's a level of fame that you cannot sustain that level of fame.
So for me, I think the Osbournes kicked off the whole reality show series from watching A Celebrity Family. But for me, having known them personally and been to their houses both here and in the States, they were just a regular family, but with dysfunctional members.
Tragedy struck the family when Ozzy was involved in an accident whilst at home in the UK.
The wife of legendary rock star Ozzy Osbourne says his quad bike accident almost killed him. Sharon Osbourne says her husband's heart stopped beating for nearly 2 minutes after the accident in the grounds of their Buckinghamshire home. Ozzy is still on a ventilator.
We were absolutely devastated. But then I thought, this man's got 9 lives. Something's going to happen.
It was a period of major ups and downs. While he was recovering in hospital, he topped the UK singles chart for the first time alongside daughter Kelly with the #1 song, Changes.
It's so hard to see your dad like that.
Here's a handkerchief.
Thank you.
Kelly, but you see, I was prepared. I thought that you would. You did tell me earlier on. Now, one of the great bits of news was that it was your first UK #1 for you and your dad, right? How was he when he heard that he was #1 here in the UK?
He cried and he just put his finger up like that because he couldn't speak.
We met up with him soon afterwards when he was healing, and he had all these metal bolts in his neck and stuff like that. And I said, Ozzy, you're part cyborg. You're never going to go anywhere. And he said, well, I guess I'll be setting all the alarms off at the airport.
I've died once or twice before, but I mean, it's been a story of my life. When I came off the quad bike a few years ago, my heart stopped twice on the way to the hospital. I must have just like a cat 7 lives.
Ozzy's influence stretched far and wide, but it was the Osbournes who helped shape careers, as international star Youngblood explains.
I think Ozzy was so integral to me because I was a loud, crazy, out-of-the-box kid, and he represented that idea. And I think seeing as that family have become like really close to me in the years, like Sharon has always given me advice on like, do not dilute your madness, do not dilute your light, let it just admit.
And in Ozzy and Black Sabbath's hometown, their influence is still deafening.
They're like everyone's great uncle. Like, you feel like you know them even if you don't know them, because it's just so alive as it is from then today. Like, even though I wasn't around then, like, not even a cell. Do you know what I mean, Babs?
It's all down to the audience. If the audience ain't there, you ain't got a gig. It's like, it's been remarkable. It's been absolutely remarkable. I mean, it's had its good times and its bad times, but through it all, the music.
Ozzy was welcomed back into the Black Sabbath fold during the 1990s. And the band played sporadically over the next 4 decades. On July the 5th, 2025, Black Sabbath finally came home to Birmingham.
The bands going to play that day were absolutely rock royalty. You've got Guns N' Roses, you've got Metallica. Throughout the day, everyone was turning up to essentially honour the godfather of heavy metal.
I am incredibly honoured and grateful to have been a part of Back to the Beginning, honouring the great Black Sabbath and the late, great Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. Everybody was there for the same reason. Everybody had that same childlike wonder and just so grateful to be there. There was no hierarchy. There was no who's who. We were just all there for the same reason. And then you're also so emotional about it because this is the last time, we're all going to be clapping with Ozzy. And obviously we didn't know that he was going to pass away so soon afterward. But that was the feeling was, okay, we're saying goodbye and we're saying thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
It really did motivate him. And I've been talking to him a lot over the years. And this really gave him a new lease to work up to. He had something to work towards doing.
Seeing Ozzy push through and do an absolutely incredible job. It's not often I cry, but I cried. It was insane.
Sabbath rules, Ozzy rules. Ozzy rules. It is nothing short of a blessing, and I think it's the highlight of my life so far.
I have endless love for Ozzy, and I sobbed the whole way through because he's legend.
You couldn't write the story. Because people wouldn't believe it, I mean, I branched out, did my own thing, and it's like putting an old jacket on, it fits.
Just 2 weeks after that final gig, fans gathering at Birmingham's Black Sabbath Bridge couldn't believe Ozzy's story had ended.
So nice that his last act was donating all the money from the gig to the local charities.
I mean, certainly he's done everything to excess, and he's had the most fantastic life anybody could ever had.
He's done so much for the music that I've loved all my life and my family now love.
I was at the gig a few weeks ago, and it felt like he was holding out for that one gig.
It felt like mass worship going on. Utterly stunned.
I find it difficult at the moment to really accept that. I still think he's there, and I still go to text him and stuff, and he's not there anymore. It's really weird, and I think that's going to take a long time, because it's losing a brother.
I can't believe he's gone. I was just thinking I'm going to turn around and he's going to go Sharon, or we're going to go and do another interview. Yeah. You can put... It's all right.
Right now, Never Say Die, that's the brand new one from Black Sabbath.
A rock god who'll live in the hearts of fans and those who knew him through his music.